Okay, 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 okay. Okay, okay. That's perfect. 今日は花が日本で感じたカルチャーショックについて話していきたいと思います。
カルチャーショック。
カルチャーショックっていうね、日本語やで英語みたいやろ。花だって何ヶ月間ぐらい住んでる？もう9ヶ月、10ヶ月ぐらい日本に住んでてさ。
10ヶ月？
No. 違う？
7?
か。7?
Almost 8 or
8? 8ヶ月ね。で、これまでにいっぱいそのカルチャーショックを感じてるみたいなんで、今日はそれを発表してくれます。
And actually, there were a lot, but we have to keep it a bit shorter. Like, I had to trim my list down. So, first one is how in Japan, the shower room and like the bathroom is separate from the toilet, which it wasn't necessarily a shock, but it was more like I didn't realize how convenient that was until I got here. Especially when you live with multiple people.
日本でもたまにユニットバスって言って
That's like Tokyo, right?
俺が一回昔住んでた時そうやったで、トイレとお風呂一緒やった。
But that's only like for units where you live alone.
まあそうやな。
But like for family homes, that's never really the case. It was less of a shock, but more I was shocked how much I appreciated that. I don't have to ask anyone before I use the bathroom. It's nice. And it feels cleaner. The shower room and the bathroom, it's for getting clean only. And then the toilet is for doing your business only. Like separate use rooms. I like that. Like organized and like they're for different uses. I like it. It makes sense. The next one, which it kind of relates to something he was shocked about in Vancouver. I couldn't believe when we got here, like how everyone hangs their laundry. If you go outside at all, in any neighborhood, any time of year, any time of day, you see like people's clothes hanging or like their futons hanging over their balcony.
Yeah,
like always, there's just laundry hanging everywhere. Personally, I never hang my laundry, definitely not outside. In the city, at least, people don't do that much.
俺がカナダで結構びっくりしたのは、洗濯機と乾燥機、ドライヤー、一緒に置いてるような絶対カナダの家って2つセットで。もうすぐに洗濯し終わった後、乾燥機に入れて乾かすやん。で、you don't have to hang, right? After that, it depends on clothes of material clothes, but usually just you put everything into the dryer, right? バンクーバーってめちゃくちゃ雨降るやん。で、日本ってさ、わかるやろ？いつも晴れてるやん。
Yeah, actually.
ほとんど晴れてるやん。
It's almost always sunny, or even if it is raining, it's usually not the whole day. And even in the winter, people hang their laundry, but the winters are really dry here, so your laundry dries quickly. And actually, you taught me that hanging your laundry inside sometimes in the winter is really nice because it kind of heightens the humidity in the room, which the winter now I know is so dry here, like you feel it in your skin. So it was very nice to have wet laundry, like kind of make the room more moist.
まあバンクーバーの人は干さへんだよね、外に。でも俺はめっちゃいいと思ったけど、干すのめんどくさいからさ、もう絶対に、乾燥機、ドライヤーあった方がいいなと思った。でもやっぱ太陽で干した方がね、やっぱ服がふかふかになったりするね。もちろん、なんていうのな、I can smell the 太陽。
He talked about that. I don't really know what that smells like.
なんていうのな、布団とか干すやん、例えばさ、布団、外にね。だからめっちゃふかふかやねん。Like fluffy? Like puffy?
Actually, I didn't really list this as like a positive thing or not, but I do like that about if you, for your futon, putting it outside, having the UV like disinfect it basically, like bacteria and stuff. Especially like in the summer when it's very humid, it's good, I think, to put it out in the sun as much as possible, and it smells fresh. I don't know what smelling like the sun is, but it smells fresh. 多分日本人の人でわかるんじゃないかな。なんでも独特のさ、なんていうの、クリーンみたいな、めっちゃ綺麗みたいな。 fresh.
たまに干すのめんどくさいけど、まあメリットもあるね。
With that being said, though, we actually bought like a washer dryer here.
あ、そうそう。干したくなかったからさ。食べ物ね。確かにな、これも全然違うかったね。
Yeah, he had been in Canada, in Vancouver, for like about a year at that point, so he got used to things there. So when we both came here, we were both like shocked to how cheap food is here.
逆カルチャーショックってやつかな。
Oh, yeah. Most like staple foods, of course not everything, but staple foods, like stuff you eat every day.
Oh, staple.
Is fucking cheap, like eggs. Meat too, if you eat meat every day. People might be aware in America they're having some issues with eggs.
Right.
But in Canada too, eggs have for a long time been pretty expensive. We always sell them in packs of 12. Here it's 10, but in Vancouver 12.
Okay.
But for regular sized eggs that are not high quality, definitely you can't eat them raw. Like you could get quite sick. Those ones for 12, when we were there already, it was like $5 to $6.
$6.
And it's for like the cheapest eggs you can find.
高すぎる。マジ高すぎる。卵さ、毎日食うもんやん。で、めちゃくちゃ水っぽい。パチャ
The cheap ones. Yeah.
で、こんな水っぽいなみたいな。
If you find eggs that expensive in Japan, they are like the best eggs you're ever going to eat. But in Canada, that's like the lowest egg grade you can find.
なんかちょっと食べるの嫌やったもん。
Yeah.
Then
kind of suspicious.
だからegg yolk part can break easily.
Oh, and the yolk is like yellow.
Yeah, not light. Not orange.
It looks unhealthy.
So.
Eggs is just one example.
One example.
One thing I was really happy about. Moyashi.
いや、もやしだよ。バカ高いもんな。
Yeah.
びっくりした。$3, right? $3. Like, もやし、ただのもやし。日本じゃったらもやしがもう一番安い野菜。
Yeah, it's like free. For me, sometimes it's less than 30 yen.
20何円とかあるね。ただもやし好きやったやん。
Yeah, now I use them like every day. Every day because literally it really feels free. And I add them like if I fry rice kind of dishes. Then I add that so you can have less carbs and they're just crunchy. I like their texture a lot. They don't taste like anything, but the texture.
うまいよね。じゃあ嬉しいんじゃない？日本で安いのいっぱい買えて。
Yeah. Now I got used to it a bit, but this was one of the things that shocked me for like the first few months. I couldn't really believe it still. But now I'm more used to it.
Oh, okay. You like feel opposite culture shock
Yeah.
in Vancouver, definitely.
If I see now eggs in the supermarket that's more than 300 yen, I'm like, oh, that's expensive. This is like a shock for both of us since we moved to Tokyo. Especially you because you have to go to work like in the
そうね、
morning.
すごいよ。知ってたけどさ、東京ってめちゃくちゃ何でもいい混んでるっていうの。けどずっと関西に住んでて、大阪も結構ね、人多いんよ。けど東京は比べ物にならへんな。もう毎朝電車乗るんですけど、もう戦争で毎朝。
Oh yeah.
To get to get into the I don't know the train.
See, I haven't experienced like true rush hour here yet. That's on purpose, especially because I'm pregnant. I don't want to be squeezed.
たまにさ、めっちゃalready the train was so full, but there's there's some people try to get on the train. How? Stop, やめろ, 危ない、no space.
I always feel bad like for really small like women. They get squished and like their head is down here because we're quite tall, but I'm kind of worried about their breathing room,
そう、だから知ってると思うけどさ、女性 on the train only for women.
Yeah,
like
that's necessary. Just like for safety.
And then どこでも混んでる。何するにも there's a line. Even bathroom, right?
I was especially shocked like for on the weekend when we just want to go to a cafe or we want to go to a restaurant or we want to go anywhere. There's lineups everywhere. Like you can't get a seat. So that was like when I learned how busy Tokyo is.
Yeah, you have to be a bit smart if you want to go somewhere that be earlier or like
Saturdays, like if we want to go to a cafe, we wake up earlier and we go like when they open. We try to avoid crowded places like Shibuya. I can't enjoy anything when it's that crowded.
けど東京何でもあるからね。
Yeah.
If you want to do something different, you can do it in Tokyo.
Yeah, of course, in general, Tokyo has been great, but it's like whatever you do want to do, you have to have good planning. Since we talked about rush hour and a bit of like working culture here in Tokyo, one thing I was so shocked about before we moved to Japan, one thing you taught me is how Japanese companies work. When you get hired somewhere, basically the idea is you spend your career with that company.
まだa bit changing still, but still that's I think a basic, I don't know, like
yeah, especially bigger, like older companies, right?
そうね。
Still the classic idea of like, why would you quit? We hired you. Aren't you gonna like stay here for your life? I couldn't believe, because it's the opposite in Vancouver. Like,
right.
If you stay in a company too long, it might be difficult to find a job after, because people think you got comfortable in that company. You like kind of doing the same thing.
Okay.
You don't really want to grow necessarily. Like you are maybe a bit afraid of challenges or new environments.
That's a good thing in Japan, like to stay same company for a while.
Yeah, like a long time.
Long time,
if you
like,
do
like
your
40 years.
Yeah.
40 years after graduation from university. That's interesting perspective for me. In Japan, if you like change your job a lot, it means なんていうのかな、仕事続けられない人とか、なんかストレス耐性がない人とか。
Indecisive.
Yeah, like a minus point.
Of course, in the West too, if you change too much, that's not good. And you guys have such a culture with like senpai at your work. So the idea is you build up your experience to get into that position at some point.
Just, yeah.
Like everyone started at here and they work up with time, always with time. Just spending time in that company gets you up.
そうだから例えば全然仕事できひんけど You can be executive if you stay in that company long time.
Yeah.
And now one more like about working culture different. As I told you, if like your company like ask you to go this prefecture, you have no choice. So you have to go. Even if you have like family in the let's say previous prefecture, you have to leave the family or you have to move all together to the next prefecture. It means that if you have a children, the children change their school, so everything, friends. You guys don't have, right? The kind of just
not really,
right?
Like there are a few jobs where that could happen, but it's pretty rare. You're never like forced to move typically.
In my previous company, like have zenkoku tenkin. Then there's a senpai, like he has a home, like let's say somewhere, but he has to go, so he doesn't like see his kids as much as he wants.
And he had a young kid, right?
Yeah.
We talked about these things before coming to Japan and decided like even if he could get a really good job at a good company, I care more about this stuff. Like if you get a really high paying job but you might have to move like that, it's not worth it. I don't care how good it pays. I don't want that. We won't share like the name, but luckily he found like a really good company, like kind of a more forward thinking one, so they don't do that at all. It was lucky.
Yeah.
Now I know it's lucky.
Yeah, it's lucky. We're doing YouTube too, right?
I know.
Right.
Yeah, they allowed double work.
Yeah.
It is more older generation that had to go through this a lot.
So yeah, even they don't want to do, but they do. That's why we have this kind of Japan right now, you know.
Because they worked so hard.
That's why we have current Japan. There's so many like big companies in Japan, right? Because around like 60s, 70s, they work hard so much.
Yeah.
That's why they built like a foundation of Japan. Yeah.
So of course it's good to appreciate people's hard work.
Yeah.
But at this point, I don't think you need to make people work like that anymore. And especially the older generation, they understand like how tough that is. So it's nice to kind of move away from that. I don't want young people to like hate their job. Yeah. Actually, the list is longer, but kind of, I think this video is getting too long. So in summary, I have been very like pleasantly shocked. If I go back to Vancouver, there's gonna be a lot of things that I miss. Like I appreciate how like polite everyone is, how clean everything is, how clean people are, like they respect public spaces. They don't throw garbage on the ground usually. That's not necessarily normal in the West. You find people leaving garbage places. They don't really have respect for public space. I just wish like Vancouver would adopt some of these things, just like keeping spaces cleaner. That's a really basic one, right? But it makes such a difference.
そういっぱい話したいことあるけど、今日はこのぐらいにしておきますか。はい、じゃあ今日はこの辺で花が感じたカルチャーショックでした。 はい、これで終わりです。さよなら、バイバイ。
I did.
バイバイ。